What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and in this video, we're going to talk about Vitality. So, Vitality has obviously been very disappointing so far this split, but they made it to playoffs, and that's all that really matters. I think that throughout the year, throughout the split, we had some very bad drafting from them, and it's not that the comps didn't make sense, like, as a unit. It's just that they may not have fit the team, or they kind of allowed the team to play so aggressive that it just blew up in their face. So maybe it was variance. Maybe all the drafts were really good, and the variance was just really bad. But I don't know. I think that it just didn't make a lot of sense with having Alfari and Selfmade both playing champions that required a lot of attention and resources. You're probably better off making one of them give in and play a champion that's more team centric, because you couldn't really do that with your bot lane in a hard carry meta where everything was focused on Jinx and Aphelios, mostly Jinx. But if we get into a meta shift where utility AD carries are better, then you can have Alfari and Selfmade both playing hyper carry champions themselves, and then have Carzzy playing utility, which is probably his better role. I don't think that Carzzy is a very good Jinx Aphelios. So far, we've seen him be on teams that are good. Like with Mad Lions, they were winning a lot, so if he played Jinx or Aphelios in that situation, yes, he's going to look better. But more... And the other thing is that he was playing with a mid laner that was kind of focused on just helping him. With Perks, he got less of that. Lebrov, good enough support. So let's just go from top to bottom. So Alfari, I think that Alfari is still one of the best 3 top laners in the league. Now that we're going into playoffs, I think that it'll be better and easier for them to have really good strategies that allow them to play to individual players' strengths on their team. At least that's the hope. I have a future on them to win the Spring Championship, which looks like bad value at this point because it was a pretty low money line. But like I said, Alfari definitely S tier, probably the first or second best top laner in the LEC, and he's only 22 years old. I think that's the thing some people may not realize because he's been around for so long, but Alfari has been playing at such a high level for so long that you need to just assume that in the summer he's going to be better than he was now, and that's also why they have the upside of winning the Spring Championship in the upcoming weeks. For Selfmade, again, another surprisingly young player. He's only 22 years old, and that's kind of why I look to these lower teams to keep taking chances on younger players, because your window will come where you have a young player with 3 or 4 good years ahead of them. I think that Selfmade at 22 probably still has between 2 to 4 good years, like really good elite years left where they can be competitive at Worlds. Not necessarily a title contender, but competitive at Worlds, which is the baseline for a player that I would want on a team that I was involved with. Perks, one of the best Western players of all time. Has he looked good this split? Not really. Do I think a lot of that had to do with draft? Yes. Do I think a lot of that has to do with getting acclimated to the LEC again? Maybe. Probably not as much that. The competition level is it is a little bit better than the LCS. But ultimately, I think that Perks will show in playoffs that he's still a very good player. And with this amount of talent around him, he doesn't need to be a great player. He needs to be at least a good player. Just play towards your draft's win conditions, and you'll be fine. I guess that's that for that. That's that for that. And then in the bot lane, we have Carzzy and Lebrov. Carzzy and Lebrov, both 19 years old. They've played together in the past, and they've played together in metas that were better suited to Carzzy's skills. I think that when we get into a utility AD carry meta, we also get to the point where you can have these like extremely hard snowballing champions from the early game. I know that his Kalista is very good. The only concern I have with Vitality is their drafting. And I like their aggressiveness. I like their talent level. It's just the drafting hasn't been in line with what's good in the meta, which is concerning, and that's kind of comes down to coaching, I think. So the question is, does the coach not have a good read on the meta? Or, which is probably more likely, are the players not letting them draft to what they think is the best, because players have egos, and especially when you have 5 good players like this, they may have too much say in the drafts. But I don't know that. I'm still very high on Vitality. I think they have a legitimate chance at winning the spring championship, and I think that next split they'll definitely be better than this split. They'll probably make Worlds, and at the end of the day, that's all you can really ask for, because if they have one good run at Worlds, you're going to forget the rest of the context surrounding them from this year. So Alfari, top 3 player, self-made top 3 player. Perks, I still think he's a top 3 player in terms of like upside talent. A lot of people disagree with me on that now. They think he's like middle of the table from the talent perspective for mid lane. But there's at least probably 5 good mid laners in the LEC, so even in that scenario, I think that it could kind of be okay. And then Karzi and Labrov, they were not a top 3 bot lane in this split, and if it goes to a Jinx Aphelios meta, or a meta that requires a lot of hard carry champions or hyper carry champions, and like they're the focal point of the team, and you need to have a really good one to be competitive in playoffs or at Worlds, then Vitality is not going to have that upside, which is unfortunate, because I think that the criticism for Karzi was not really warranted last year, when he basically was called out by the owner of the team, or the GM of the team or something, that led to all the changes. But just because you're not a hyper carry player doesn't mean you're a bad player. So, maybe he's just a very, very good utility player, which is fine, especially when you have as much talent as you do, as much talent around you as he does. So that's it for this video. Like I said before, if you like this kind of video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you disagree with me about the talent of these players, let me know in the comment section below. Check out thrivefantasy.com, use promo code PIKEL. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.